so this was done to my department. I work in manufacturing as quality, and every so often we go out and audit different areas to make sure they're complying with different regulations. This happened when we audited the maintenance area. I wasn't present for the audit itself, but got to see the reports come in. To preface, the maintenance department is solely responsible for their own area. All sinks have to be equipped with hand washing soap and paper towels, even if they aren't hand washing sinks. It's just one of those wacky rules. They had a sink in the maintenance area that was used for rinsing off pieces after any cutting or grinding. As such, the sink did not have soap or paper towels and went into the report. Maintenance responded saying that was a job of sanitation's to keep the area sinks stocked, and sanitation refused, saying it wasn't their job because it was in the maintenance area. Maintenance responded that they don't deal with soap and paper towels, that's not their job. Everything goes quiet. 3 months go by and I get this gem in my email. Complete sink removed. I work in England, so it gets pretty cold in October. My workplace has this dumb rule that we can't have our coats during the day. They don't turn on any heaters, so it is practically the same temperature outside and inside. We can't have them anywhere but in the cupboard, and have to get them at the end of the day or at lunch break. So, the rule is that we can't have our coats with us. So I brought my blanket into work one day when I showed the dress code to my boss, and he was very amused. I got to keep the blanket, and the next day, 7 of my co-workers brought in their blankets. Now it is a few weeks later, and the dress code has been changed. Now we can wear plain black or navy coats at work. I used to work 2 different jobs. I had a huge car note to pay off, and afterwards I still just had the second job. At my original job, everyone there hated it. The employees, most of the managers. We were all just standing around, and I sighed and said I hate this job, and my manager said then quit thinking I wouldn't do it. Something struck inside of me when she said it, cause next thing I did was take my hat, apron and shirt. I always wore a white undershirt, often clock out and leave. On my way out I heard her laugh a little bit. Then when she realized I wasn't joking, her running out trying to stop me. It was a wonderful feeling. So this one probably isn't as great as others, but my smartassery got myself, my coworkers, and my manager a laugh. I work at a pizza chain. It's not nationwide, but there is multiple restaurants. So it was just a typical Friday. We were busy, but we were keeping up. Someone ordered a pan pizza which I didn't even know we had. I have a severe distrust of my short-term memory and check the tickets constantly. I rarely mess up the pizzas themselves when the tickets are right. About a half hour after it was picked up, we got a call. Can I talk to your manager please? I told my manager on shift he has a Karen on line 1. After about 5 minutes he hangs up and tells us to remake it and load it down with as much sauce as effing possible. So that is exactly what we did. In case you didn't know, these pan pizzas have us line the inside of a pan with dough. I put so much sauce in there it isn't even funny. It became pizza soup. My manager saw it, laughed, and said effing perfect. We got a call back saying she didn't like it and was never ordering from us again. Instead of trying to rectify, the manager said, okay, and hang up. Wrote down the name on a post-it note and said we were no longer taking orders from them. At my school, we are not allowed to wear pajamas to class. While I have a costume I will wear later today, I was tired, wanted to be comfortable, and didn't want to wear that costume all day. So while wearing the lunchwear that I oftentimes use as pajamas, I wore those clothes, popped on my slipper shoes, grabbed a blanket and pillow, and wore my sleep-deprived college student costume to class. The one day of the year that I can wear pajamas to class and get away with it. Definitely taking advantage of this law. In the 80s, I was in the army and stationed in Germany. When I originally arrived at my platoon, we had a great platoon sergeant and a terrific platoon leader. Our platoon was #1 in the whole battalion for pretty much everything, and life was good. Fast forward about a year, and we got both a new platoon sergeant and a new platoon leader within weeks of each other, but we figured life would go on. And, seeing as how we were already the best in our battalion, things should continue on pretty much as they were. Unfortunately, the new crew had other ideas. For some reason, they felt that, although we were the best, they were going to break us down and make us better, their thoughts being we had obviously been ineptly led by nincompoops. We understood that everyone wants to make their mark when they get to a new unit, but calling us all to a formation and telling us we were essentially worthless and weak didn't have the intended effect. After running us around for a month basically attempting to change all of the things we did that worked into their version of a team of monkeys shagging a football, it was time to go to the field. In those days, we had the old school army jeeps that towed a trailer full of all of the fun things that we took to the field, and, of course, some things we probably shouldn't. To combat this problem, and to promote good organization, we were required to have a load plan. Each box was assigned a spot in the trailer, and was labeled as to its contents. The rule was, if it isn't on your load plan, it isn't going in the trailer. This was rigorously enforced by all of the newly promoted sergeants who had nothing better to do than tell all of us minions to scurry about, and attempt to earn their praise. We, of course, tried to stay as far away from anyone with too many stripes, and fled to the motor pool, only to make brief appearances when absolutely necessary. For a little background, our new LT was prior service enlisted, and went to college on an ROTC scholarship, got his commission and re-entered the military as a freshly minted second lieutenant. We all figured that he'd already experienced bad leadership, so, having the benefit of being on the receiving end said bad leadership, he'd know how things were supposed to be done. And we were wrong. He had the worst case of, do as I tell you, not what I do, that I've seen in a very long time, and he seemed to take great pleasure in our misery. For our first foray into the field led by our intrepid leaders, we were explicitly told that, if the army didn't issue it, we weren't allowed to take it with us. This included any clothing that was civilian in nature and could keep us comfortable and warm. It also included any food items that were actually edible, because C rations were good enough. Spoiler, they weren't, and all of you sisses that complain about MREs, meals ready to eat, can try eating ham and eggs out of a can. As we were loading up, I was called into the orderly room, where a fairly substantial footlocker was sitting open. Inside was quite an assortment of snack cakes, crackers, sausages and all manner of other goodies, all of which were prohibited. Of course, since this locker was owned by the LT and the platoon sergeant, it was considered official equipment and quite necessary. Just as I walked into the room, they slammed the lid and placed a padlock on the box, assuming, incorrectly, that I hadn't just seen the Ark of the Covenant of junk food. I was then ordered to take the top secret box of delights out to my jeep and stow it with everything else I was tasked to keep track of. Shortly after I found room in my trailer, one of our sergeants, an E5 that was only a sergeant, because they either had to promote him or get rid of him, asked my co-driver to show him the load plan. Remember, this is the official document that says what can and cannot be in your trailer. After a thorough inspection, the wayward box that wasn't supposed to be there, officially, was located, and he was asked what the box was and what was in it. My buddy told the sergeant that he had no idea what was in that box or how it got in the jeep, and was ordered to take it out of the trailer and deposit it in the basement, or we would both be subjected to some sort of punishment befitting our attempt at smuggling some sort of deadly contraband. Since nobody asked me, I just remained respectfully quiet, and then I, being the obedient soldier that I was, and wanting to follow orders, picked up the box and found a nice dark corner to deposit it in, so that it would be safe and waiting for us upon our return. When we got to the field, the LT and platoon sergeants started inquiring about their box, so I told them that Sergeant Doofus made us take it out of the trailer. According to the complaining parties, that precious box, officially, contained all manner of equipment that was totally necessary for us to successfully complete all of our missions in the field. Thankfully, we seemed to miraculously have a second set of everything that was supposed to be kept in the box, so the day was saved. So you can say that this is a story of how, anytime we went to the field from then on, there was always a bit of extra space for the odd box of creature comforts, and nobody's load plan was checked at a microscopic level anymore. This was my first malicious compliance. I was about 4 years old at the time, in the kitchen with my mom. I think she was mixing cookie dough. I was hanging around being annoying, bugging her for something. She kept telling me to wait, and she would take care of it when she had a free hand, but I kept wheedling. She finally got annoyed and sternly told me to hold my horses. Even at 4 I knew this expression meant to wait, but I had an idea. Determined to make mom see that there was a cost for denying me, my child brain hatched a plan, and I trundled into the living room. I positioned myself strategically and waited. After a few minutes of me being too quiet, after having given up too easily, mom came into the living room to see what I was up to and started laughing. She found me standing between my and my sister's 2 rocking horses, holding firmly onto them and smugly waiting for her. Mom brought this story up recently, laughing at how I took her so literally. Imagine her surprise when I told her I not only remembered the incident, but that I specifically remember doing it to be a smart butt even at 4 years old. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person. I know. Anyways, peace out and catch you tomorrow.